Let me start with something that will make you uncomfortable. If you are keeping most of your money in a bank account waiting for the right time to invest, you aren't playing it safe. You are choosing a guaranteed loss. I can prove it with simple arithmetic that a high school student should understand. But somehow, very smart people miss this constantly. You look at your bank statement and you see the number isn't going down. It feels safe. But that is the problem. You are watching the wrong number. You are measuring nominal dollars when you should be measuring purchasing power. It's like celebrating that your car's speedometer still works while ignoring that you are running out of gas. If inflation runs at 3% annually and that's a polite number and your savings account pays 0.5%, you are losing 2.5% of your wealth every single year. Over a decade, that is not a risk. That is a certainty. You will lose about 25% to 30% of what that money can actually buy. Today, we are going to invert the problem. Instead of asking what should I buy to get rich, we are going to ask, what guarantees I lose money? The answer is holding cash. So, let us look at the 5 assets that are actually safer than a bank account because they preserve your purchasing power rather than letting it rot. Before we get to the assets, we have to address why you do this. It's not stupidity, it's biology. We humans suffer from what I call deprival, super-reaction tendency. We hate losing what we have far more than we enjoy gaining something new. So, we clutch our cash, terrified of a 20% drop in the stock market that might recover. And to avoid that, we accept a guaranteed 30% loss in purchasing power over a decade. That is not rational. That is expensive fear. In physics, there is a concept called entropy. Things naturally move from order to disorder unless you add energy. Cash has entropy. It decays naturally unless you convert it into something productive. So, what did Warren and I build Berkshire Hathaway with? Not cash. We held productive assets. Here are the 5 you need to understand. The first asset is productive businesses, what most people call stocks. But stop thinking of them as lottery tickets. Think of them as partial ownership in actual companies. Here is the key insight. A well-run business with pricing power naturally adjusts for inflation. Think about Coca-Cola. When inflation hits, Coca-Cola doesn't sit there losing value like a dollar bill. It raises prices. Its earnings grow. The value of your ownership grows with it. Over the past century, stocks have returned about 10% annually while inflation averaged about 3%. That is a real return of 7%. Cash has a real return of 0 or negative. But this is critical. This only works if you stay within your circle of competence. If you panic and sell during a downturn, you make stocks dangerous through your own behavior. But if you own a piece of a business that throws off cash and has pricing power, it is infinitely safer than cash over the long term. The second asset is productive real estate. Notice I said, productive. I am not talking about a vacation home you hope to flip. I am talking about property that generates income. In an inflationary environment, real estate is a fortress. Why? Because rents tend to rise with inflation, but your mortgage, if you have a fixed rate, stays the same. You are paying back debt with cheaper dollars while your income rises. Here is the test I use. If the property stopped appreciating in value tomorrow, would you still want to own it based solely on the income it generates? If the answer is no, you are speculating, not investing. And speculation is just another form of gambling. The third asset surprises people, but it is the one asset everyone has. It is yourself, your skills, and your earning power. If you have $50,000 sitting in a bank account and you are early in your career, you might be making a terrible mistake. That money could fund education or training that multiplies your earning power tenfold. Your earning power is the present value of all your future earnings. Unlike stocks, your skills cannot be taken away by a market crash. But you must be honest. Learning underwater basket weaving doesn't count. You must learn skills that create value for others and are hard to replicate. Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. He was right. The fourth asset is high-quality bonds, but only in specific situations. A long-term bond in high inflation is dangerous. It locks you into a losing rate. But short-term bonds can be a parking place. They give you optionality, keeping your powder dry for opportunities while earning more than a savings account. Finally, the fifth asset, useful hard assets. I am not talking about gold. Warren jokes that you could take all the gold ever mined, put it in a cube, and it wouldn't produce anything except the need for security guards. Gold just sits there. I am talking about assets that do something. Productive farmland, machinery that generates income, even a reliable vehicle if it enables you to work. These hold value because they are valuable to humans, not just because we agree they are. We want production, not hope. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. Does this mean you should have zero cash? Of course not. That would be stupid. You need an emergency fund. The rule of thumb is simple. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash. That is your sleep well at night money. It protects you from having to sell your productive assets at the wrong time. But this is where people fail. 3 to 6 months of expenses is not 3 to 6 years of income. I see people with $200,000 in a savings account when they spend $40,000 a year. That is not safety. That is financial malpractice. The reason most people stay poor isn't a lack of opportunity, it's a lack of rationality. They choose the feeling of safety over the mathematical reality of safety. Warren and I didn't get rich by being geniuses. We got rich by being rational, patient, and consistently avoiding stupidity. Keeping your life savings in cash during inflation is volunteering to lose your wealth. So, invert the question. Don't ask, how can I get rich? Ask, how can I avoid staying poor? The answer is clear. Don't volunteer to lose purchasing power. Move your money from the graveyard of the bank account into assets that actually produce.